reconvene. Second?
Second.
Okay, folks, there will be no action taken immediately coming out of the executive session. Therefore, we can roll call.
Councilman Davis?
Yes.
Councilwoman DeGirolamo?
Yes.
Councilman Lutz?
Yes.
Councilman Vice President McVeigh?
Yes.
Council President Polk?
Yes. Now open it up to the floor for public comment on agenda items. That includes the discussion regarding the temporary police move. So if someone does have something to say, they're more than welcome. Council President, how are you?
Mike.
On the bottom. All the way on the bottom. There you go. Not working.
Give him a mic. Take the mayor's mic.
Thank you, Vicki. Yes, thank you for having me tonight. And for the record, when I was, just heard that
Your name and address for the
Todd M. Tersigny, 378 Grant Street, Apartment 2, Phillipsburg. Thank you. For the record, about getting them out of that is totally false. We had bipartisan support. I went to a meeting at Warren County Community College. I was present there with Councilman Josh Davis. We had a deal together within 20 minutes that I think it was like $8,000 a month, and they were going to pay our electric bill. And I believe I had support from the other bipartisan support on that particular.
You're referring to Councilman Lutz, right?
Councilman Lutz, right. And we had an agreement that there was plenty. They said that there was no room. The building was totally vacant. The school board moved out. Like I said, Councilman Davis was there and agreed that that was the best choice. They said there was no parking. There was spots for 200 spots across the street. They made up every excuse not to go in there. It would have fit. They said it was too small. It could have got done within 30 days, and the mayor put the caboose to it and said it wasn't feasible. So I want you to say for the record that the previous administration did want to get them, and I did have actual support from Councilman Randy Piazza as well. So for the record, I want to, and I know it's true, that to say that we did not want to get them out of there is a complete falsehood, and the previous administration had an agreement within 20 minutes what the contract was, and it was put to a caboose because it was my idea. And it was, and who was the CEO of the town was Mayor Ellis. So we did want to get them out of there. And I know it for a fact, and people know me to have a pretty good memory. So I just want to say that for the record. And they would have been out of there a long time ago. And there was plenty of room in that building. And Will Alston, the president of the community college, was bent over backwards for the town of Phillipsburg. And Councilman Davis cannot deny that. He was there that day. And I just want to say that for the record. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Council President. Is there anyone else? Mr. Meyer?
I'm Joe Miner. I live at 392 South Main Street, Phillipsburg, Apartment 2.
Thank you, Joe.
Before I knew this whole thing was coming up, I was going to speak to 2019-34 and 35.
Okay.
And how wouldn't you know it, they're relative to exactly the police thing.
Yes.
And I'm not going to go into the past who's to blame and all that other crap. I supported and presented in the past a simple, direct plan. Now, and I'm going to reiterate it because it looked like you didn't want to spend this money, and this is cheap. You put an office with a public figure dispatcher in it in the present town council municipal building. Okay, and you probably have to put up some kind of communication tower or something like that there. Now, we've been working to keep all our police dispatched. The more dispatched they are, the better. So this office has a policeman with he is the dispatcher and he is the public figure. If somebody wants to go and talk to the police, the guy is there, or a man or a woman is there. The police are dispatched. We make a bargain with Powhatcon, Lopatcon, the one that's just next door, Lopatcon, right? They have a facility that meets all the standards for, with the jails just being right and all that other stuff. And we pay them $1 or $2, and we can do it pretty quickly so that we're already using their court building. Now we're using their jail and police facilities. We can do it pretty quickly. We have our policemen, and they are taking their cars home at night, as it is done by many people. So the parking area behind the municipal building is generally unused in that alley. So there isn't even room for special vehicles that the police might need. Now we've built a tower, probably. We have a dispatcher. We have our police doing what we want them to do anyhow. We want them always dispatched. They are all in communication with each other. If they have to make an arrest or something and put somebody in jail, it's less than a mile from Corliss to, because I walked it, it's about a half mile from Corliss, it's less than a half mile, from Corliss to the present police station in Powhatcon's, Lopatcon, is it Lopatcon?
You walked to the Hakon, Joe?
Yeah, I'm 80 years old, I have that right. Okay. I think that this is something you can do pretty quickly, and I've proposed it. This is, I think, the 3rd time. But it came up tonight, it came up in these 2 issues, and it also came up, and I hope you made some headway at your meeting. But this is cheap, dirty, and easy.
Thank you.
And it puts the police back in work.
Thank you for your comments. Is there anyone else? It's public comment on agenda items. Okay, there being none, we will go ahead and close that portion, and we will now move into mayor and administrative reports. Did Mayor Ellis leave? Okay, do we have any administrative reports with regard for the sewer subcommittee?
No.
How about the redevelopment subcommittee? Nothing to report at this time? Sure.
Last Friday morning, we met with a couple developers, and we're not only looking into the Riverside Way, we're looking all through town. And the developers have some really good ideas. It's not on paper yet, but it's coming along well. So within I would say a few months, we will be having the developers come up and talk to everybody. So, but it is going not well, super well. These people want to move on this. So everything looks forward, and we're also looking into Ahart's, the market. He's looking for different types of marketing up there, but it is going to be a grocery store. So hopefully that all comes through, and we're doing very well. And I thank Frank, and I thank the developers too at the same time.
Excellent.
That's all I have. Thank you.
No, you're welcome. Thank you. I still propose if you guys are able to bring the supermarket in here, I'm going to put a statue of both of you right in the middle of 22. All right, we'll close the administrative report sections. We'll move on to ordinances for a second reading. We have none, so we'll move forward to the ordinances for a first reading. Ordinance number 2019-05, an ordinance of the town of Phillipsburg, County of Warren, State of New Jersey, amending the town code in order to create a new chapter 56 firearms and weapons of the code of the town of Phillipsburg. Any motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Sure. Council President, I was wondering on the genesis of this ordinance request. We've got pretty strict gun control laws here in New Jersey already, and it seems like this is, actually I did math. You won't be able to fire a bow and arrow or a gun literally anywhere in Phillipsburg based on the requirements in this ordinance. So I was wondering if there was a particular reason why this was requested. Or
Sure. At the work session, we discussed it, actually right outside by your backyard, there were hunters, and the school had called and complained, and unfortunately the police were unable to write them a ticket or ask them to leave the property because we did not have anything in effect. So we did some research, and our neighboring township of Lopakon had passed a similar ordinance which had eliminated those types of issues. It's not that we're anti-gun, because I can guarantee I'm not.
Didn't insinuate that.
No, so it's for the safety of the children in the school areas, and we do have a lot of school park areas in the town of Phillipsburg. I would really prefer no one fire any weapon or arrow while they're playing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Roll call?
Councilman Davis?
Yes.
Councilwoman DeGirolamo?
Yes.
Councilman Lutz?
Yes.
Council Vice President McVeigh?
Yes.
Council President Colbert?
Yes. Okay, ordinance 2019-05 passes first reading. Ordinance 2019-06, an ordinance of the town of Phillipsburg, County of Warren, and State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 414, parking handicap of the code thereof. Town.
So moved.
Second.
There's one question that we did have. So we can open it up for discussion. Does anyone have anything?
I don't think it.
Ms. Paulus, I'm going to call on you because you had reached out to me with regard to this ordinance, and I apologize with trying to get my daughter out of the state of New Jersey, not because of Governor Murphy, but because she was going to cheer for the town of Phillipsburg. You had a question, and I thought it made very good sense. Would you mind? Can you reiterate that for me real quick?
Yeah, just that it specifies that the handicapped person has to be in the vehicle, because other municipalities state that. Currently, our ordinance does not state it, so if somebody else in the household or anybody uses that vehicle and parks in that and has the placard, anybody can park there and the police can't do anything about it. Just because they have the placard and they're using the spot.
Right.
So the ordinance has to state the handicapped person must be in the vehicle.
So I think this ordinance was geared more, and Council, I will defer to you on her question, but just from my standpoint, this ordinance in general was drawn up because we have certain individuals who are disabled and they don't have those parking spaces allocated for them. It's more of a general allocation to disabled people in general. And one family in particular came home to find that parking space taken.
Yeah. All right, so this is different than the existing one. This is going to be an additional one?
It's an amendment to, and Council Winter.
Thank you, Council President. Currently, the town code permits a resident to request a parking spot for handicap parking be designated in front of their residence. But it does not specify that that resident is the only person who can utilize that spot. So the intent of this ordinance, this revision to the town code, is to not only permit a resident to request a handicapped parking spot in front of their residence, but also to limit the use of that spot to that resident.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure when I question you about the wording,
Sure.
so that if there's an issue, because there has been repeated issues, and the police have been called, and the police say that they cannot do anything about it because the ordinance does not state that person has to be in the vehicle, that's fine.
Okay, we can definitely take a look
Oh,
at that.
that's
Right. I do have one request, Council Winter. And a resident did reach out to me, and I did think it was it was a reasonable request. Can we change the wording in the ordinance from handicap to disabled?
Sure.
Would
I
that be
just
okay?
said, good, yeah, I mean, I would recommend I'd recommend revising it throughout the code just for uniformity.
If we can do that, sure. Does the council have any questions as to why we would change the wording? Are they okay with that?
Do we have, when you say throughout the code, Counselor, do you mean throughout the entirety of the code of Phillipsburg?
Yes.
Okay. We don't know all those locations. I don't know if it would be.
No, so what we would do is just
Okay.
Control F.
Okay.
Well, no, I would just do an omnibus ordinance where wherever handicapped is referred to in the code,
Yes.
it should now read as the same.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we don't need to change this reading right now, we can hold off, we can just go ahead and adopt it, you're gonna adopt it, second reading, adopt it then, and then we'll do the follow-up
Yes.
ordinance, changing everything.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions? Yes.
I'll be for council. I'm objected to changing the wording, but if you change the wording, would that put us outside any state boundaries of what falls and what would be applicable to us and the benefits we would have from any future program of this? By changing the wording, would it be possible to take us outside the parameters of that?
We'll look at that, Council Vice President, but the idea is to tie the provisions in Title 39 to whatever definition is used.
It's also codified there.
Correct.
Thank you.
For those who don't know, he's a cop. All right. So, is there any further discussion? Roll call vote.
Councilman Davis?
Yes.
Councilwoman DeGirolamo?
Yes.
Councilman Litz?
Yes.
Council Vice President McBain?
Yes.
Council President Clifford?
Yes, ordinance 2019-06 passes. We do have resolutions on the consent agenda. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second?
Is there anything that needs to be removed? Councilman Litz?
No.
Councilman Davis?
No.
Councilwoman?
No.
Council Vice President? Same here.
Council President, if I may?
Yes.
Just resolution 2019-37, Patillo should be P-E-T-I-L-L-O. The typographical error.
Okay. Roll call.
Councilman Davis?
Yes.
Councilwoman DeGirolamo?
Yes.
Councilman Litz?
Yes.
Council Vice President McBain?
Yes.
Council President Clifford?
Yes. Okay, they all pass. Old business, we do have a few tabled ordinances. I guess I would look to the council to decide whether or not they want to untable ordinance number 2019-02, and I believe we were hoping that the mayor was still in attendance for these answers.
Council President?
Yes.
My office prepared a memo which will be circulated to the council. I thought we were going to discuss this at the work session.
In February?
Yes.
Okay, we can do that. Is everyone's okay with it remaining table?
We don't have a work session in February.
Yes, we do.
We don't have a work session in February?
We're closed on this fall.
We can schedule one if you want. Want to schedule one?
Okay.
Okay, yeah, Josh, like,
The memo is pretty self-explanatory, so I'll circulate it and you guys can consider it at
Okay.
your next regular meeting.
I would look to the sewer subcommittee with regard to ordinances number 2019-3 and 4 and ask them whether or not they believe their general recommendation is that should it remain tabled?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes? Is everyone okay with that? Okay. All of the ordinances on old business will remain tabled. Moving forward, if there are no vetoes, we do have new business. I do have to apologize. I need to amend the agenda with regard to the Recreation Committee members. They need to be appointed by resolution, so they will take place at the very next meeting by resolution, so I'll have to have that done. The second point in new business is the clerk's office has received a petition from the town of Phillipsburg asking employees, including the DPW staff, to ask the council and mayor to allow them to have off on Friday, July 5th, 2009. They understand that they will forfeit a vacation day for such requested day. I believe we can vote to...
Yeah, make a motion.
Are we closing town hall?
Yes.
So because this is an administrative action by the mayor, our vote would be to
Okay.
just say that we're okay with his actions, whether or not, okay.
Yep.
I make that motion.
Second.
Roll call vote, Vicky?
Councilman Davis?
Yes.
Councilwoman DeGarmo?
Yes.
Councilman Lutz?
Yes.
Council Vice President McVeigh?
Yes.
Council President Fulton?
Yes, we can go ahead and forward that to the mayor and let him know council approves. We also had quotes provided for the security at the Fillmore Street building. I did see those quotes.
That was just for your information.
No, it's on there.
We only had one.
Right. Does anybody have any questions regarding those quotes? I mean, after the discussion we just had, we should probably wait until you meet and
And we should get 3 quotes.
get 3 quotes.
For that amount of money, yes.
Okay, so Vic, can we write a letter to the mayor, tell him we need 3 quotes?
Yeah, there was.
Well, they may have requested,
Oh, yeah.
you don't have to get 3 quotes, you have to request 3 quotes, so there's only one responder.
Right, we're waiting
Okay.
for another one.
The other question that I asked, if we can contact the Board of Education, because they had the alarm system in there before the buzzer system, and asked who
Oh,
connected
that's
that.
who gave us this quote.
That's the guy that gave it to me?
I'm almost positive that it's all active items.
Wow.
Okay. Councilman Lutz, do you have anything else for new business?
No, I don't.
Councilman McVeigh?
No, sir.
Council Vice President, I apologize. Councilman Davis?
No, sir.
Councilwoman?
Yes.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion on freeze the revolving loan.
All funds?
I'll second that.
We only have one at play. All the rest are pending, and we've requested legal action be taken on the ones that are outstanding already at a prior meeting.
So
Yeah, but I thought, I think, if I may say, Mr. Cotty, if I may say your name? Mr. Cotty, I thought we resolved that.
Well, I'd like to be sure it doesn't get held up.
Well, we're not.
Sure.
So-
Mr. Cotton?
Just to be
Mr.
clear,
Steinhardt?
any other revolving loan that would come before us, we would have to approve.
Your name and address for the record.
Thank you. Douglas Steinhardt. I'm an attorney here in Phillipsburg, New Jersey. I'm here on behalf of the Belvidere and Delaware Railroad, New York, Susquehanna, and Western Technical and Historical Society and the Delaware River Railroad Excursions. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Good. I'm here on the same matter that Councilman DeGarmo was addressing, Mr. Lutz was as well. The outstanding line of credit that dates back to November of 2017. I really have 2 issues. One, to make sure that the line will be honored. And second, because there have been some administrative issues that led us up to today. We're looking for an extension of time because there was some confusion over some accounts that have been frozen and therefore a couple outstanding reimbursements and there's a balance left on the line.
So, Mr. Steinhardt, just so you're aware, we did have a conversation. I'm not sure if Mr. Cotty had made you aware of that conversation prior to. We had decided that we will be able to honor that. We spoke with CFO Merlo, and we will be honoring the $100,000 line of credit, and we will also be providing him with the extension. So I believe the motion then would be to provide Mr. Cotty with the extension, and we'd have to ask the mayor to provide him with the extension because it is a contract.
Well, we would need that by resolution and
Right.
revised contract, correct.
Right. So if you want to open up the entire revolving loan, are there still issues out there? See, Councilman, let's,
No, because.
There's
we
no
don't
other
have the-
applications before us.
Yeah, but still, we don't have the bylaws.
so I would
We
be
have to
more
redo the
comfortable.
bylaws, that's what I was gonna read.
As long as Bob will release the funds
We
that
spoke to
are
him
due.
this evening, and he
because-
absolutely assured us.
Yeah.
Okay, because previously he said no.
Okay.
Richard-
So that's the reason for the
No, we did
request.
speak to him.
I believe
this
Mr.
evening.
Cotty's agreement predates our freezing of the
Right.
funds.
does.
Did,
Right.
but Bob's not been releasing them, so.
I spoke with Bob.
Okay.
So we are clear, Mr. Cotty does have access to the $100,000 line of credit, as we do have to previously honor that, and we will.
Yeah, we have
ask
2
him-
invoices, Mr. President, that we've submitted, so those are outstanding, but we'll deal with that with Mr. Miller.
Okay,
All right,
yeah, absolutely,
great.
yeah.
Yep.
So should we,
I can rescind my request.
would you like to?
Objection.
All right. What was that?
No objection.
Council, thank you all very much.
You're welcome. Thank you for waiting. Mr. Cotty, thanks for waiting.
Thank you.
And I did have one other request.
Sure.
I know we received from the League of Municipalities the 116th Congress Infrastructure Letter. I just request all council members and the mayor's office submit that to our local senator representatives. It is a letter in favor of the National League of Cities to ask for support for infrastructure support that we so badly need. I have a copy of the letter here. If you don't have it in your email, I downloaded it. I would love to email it to all and request that everybody send that in to the state for their support for the state to support, as it clearly states, and I've brought this up before after League of Municipalities, 100-year-old leaking pipes, 50-year-old crumbling bridges, and install modern resilient systems for the next 100 years. We all know we have a lot of infrastructure problems that we've all heard about. It's a statewide problem. So this letter just supports taking action at the state level to support local municipalities to relieve the debt on the municipality.
Excellent. Is that something we can review and vote on at the next meeting?
It's just a letter you submit on your own.
Okay.
So I'll send that to everyone.
Thank you.
That's it.
Okay, and I have nothing for the evening, so we can go ahead and move forward. Outside of new business, we are now moving forward to public petitions. This is the time where the public has an opportunity to speak. There is a 5-minute time limit. I do ask that you, when you approach the podium, you provide us with your name and address for the record.
Hi, Connie Fiocco, 147 Lewis Street. I am extremely disappointed that the mayor chose to leave because you guys aren't going to help me, be able to help me, but I'm going to mention it anyway, hoping that he sees this. I had over the meetings for the entire last year, council meetings. I only got a few months. I know it's a big task and she's probably overwhelmed with Oprah's, but I was looking for a specific date because I know we're coming up on a year when I first asked the mayor about the Walters Park sign. And I remember it very clearly because he started out with a lie. His response was, it was stolen. Wait, let me retract that. It was damaged, then it disappeared. Why he even bothered to state any of that is beyond me. Because then, basically what he's saying, well, first he said it was stolen, and it wasn't. But then he went to it was damaged and it disappeared. He's acting as if he didn't know where it went, which means DPW is just removing signs at will. So I find that hard to believe, so I'm sure that he ordered that to be removed. The next time I brought it up, he stated that it was being worked on, and then he stated it was en route. Now here we are, we're coming up on a year later, and there's still no sign. And he referred to the sticks that are currently there as stupid, but he's the one that has been putting those signs up. So I just wanted to voice my opinion. I feel that, part of Phillipsburg's history was ripped out and replaced by those stupid signs, those stupid sticks. And I would like him to keep his word and put a new, proper Walters Park sign at the park. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Fulton. Mr. Peck.
Hi, good evening.
How are you?
Very well, thank you. For the record, my name is Mark Peck. I'm a lawyer with the Florio Perucci Law Firm. I'm here tonight on behalf of the Cohacon Solar Farm project. I've been here before you a few times over the past year on this. I want to just quickly bring you up to speed with where we are. We did file our application with Green Acres in early December. And as Green Acres is prone to do, they identified some clarifications and some supplements that they wanted with the application. And incidentally, once they do sign off on it, I will be requesting that we have the required final public hearing as we did with the scoping hearing in October. The town on this application the town is technically the applicant on this application because it's in the park and the town originally got the Green Acres property. So when Green Acres reviewed it and some of this supplements they want, there's 2 documents that they want signed. I did provide both of them to Stan a few days ago. The first is we do an environmental assessment on the 4¼ acre piece across the street that's going to be held as open space. That's a compensation for the easement. There's a whole environmental study that needed to be done. They want somebody from the town, I'm assuming it would be Stan, just to sign off that they have checklist requirements for what topics need to be covered in the report. So they just need a certification that yes, these topics have actually been addressed. Not that necessarily Stan agrees with it or the town agrees, but it's just, yes, we've included these, just a planning board application with the checklist. So that's the first document. The second is a contamination certification for the same property, and that merely, that property was used as a farm where pesticides may have been used in the past. We don't know if they were in fact, but they may have. So this certification just says, want you to be aware that there is a possibility of pesticides there, and they want also certification that the property will be left as passive space and will not be regularly mowed or maintained by the town. And based on the scoping hearing, it seems like that was sort of people's preference anyway. But again, that's a document that needs to be signed. So on those two items, merely asking for council to authorize Stan or whoever else you designate to take a look at those forms, and if they meet with his or her approval, that they be signed and returned. That'd be great. And then the final is, we also indicated as part of the alternatives that we indicated that the town would not let us use the Carpentersville Road right-of-way. And, you know, we had informal discussions with various people in the town about this, but there's never any actual formal determination. And just for the record, if we were to use the right-of-way, we would need 2,215 feet of the right-of-way, so that's approaching a half mile of roadway. We would need a 12 to 15 foot wide easement to lay this underground line, plus another 5 to 8 feet for the trench construction. The entire road would need to be closed for the duration of this construction. Additional manholes would be required in Carpentersville Road to service this utility line, and of course, if there's ever any issues or maintenance, the roadway would be closed. And then if you go beyond the roadway, back on other lots not owned or controlled by the town, the route would require taking out 0.62 acres of woodland along the Lopakon Creek, which is a C1 stream. That's the highest, most protected status of waterways. It would also require extensive encroachments into the stream buffer, and the DEP will only issue the necessary permits to remove vegetation if there's no practical alternative to doing this. So, circling all those factors in, we thought, you know, we do have an alternative. We can just go through the park. We're not going to affect any of these environmentally sensitive areas, and we're also not going to be disrupting the roadway for a long period of time. So, but we don't want to make that formal representation. They came back and asked, hey, how come the town isn't letting you use Carpentersville Road? So we don't want to put words in your mouth. And again, we provided a letter last week. I know it's short notice, so we did provide that to Stan for his review. So again, we're asking that, you know, it's probably, I know Stan hasn't had a chance to get to you, but we are asking Stan to review what we sent and then make a recommendation to you folks, and you could just formally in the record either say, hey, you know what, you can use Carpentersville Road, or you can't. Either way, thank you very much.
Thank you so very much. You did that in well under 5 minutes. So you're going to meet with Mr. Peck for training.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Please, your name and address for the record.
Paul Wachowski at 362 Washington Street. I just wanted to mention it. We're getting tired of the tractor trailers coming down on Washington Street. We already had